Look at this one. Look how pretty that plant is.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I am Katie from Mitza Creek Farm. We are a diversified farm in northern Wisconsin, and we sell and grow pumpkins, Christmas trees, mums. We have beef, we have Navajo Churro sheep, and we have pastured poultry. We are in June and we are behind on our pumpkin planting, but we are so close to the end, I can feel it. So I thought it would be a good time to show you around the pumpkin patch today. These plants here, which are right next to our high tunnel, are all bush variety pumpkins. So we are able to plant these guys closer to each other. And I've been planting these for a couple weeks now, and we are just about done. Last night I planted a bunch of seeds in these holes. And then over here, we're gonna have carvers that we still need to plant, and then the rest of the carvers for the bush variety will go right down along the edge. We need to run one more piece of ground cover all the way down there. The drip tape you can see is already there. So we just need to probably till by hand that area and then lay down one more strip of ground cover. But these guys are looking awesome. And these are all short day variety, so they are all 95 days or less. You can see this one here, the leaf broke. But there is not much transplant shock on these guys. Oftentimes, pumpkins, cucumbers, those kind of plants, zucchini, they do not like their roots to be disturbed. And so it's kind of a tricky process to transplant pumpkins. And so I found a way that works well. You want to do it when the plant is big enough that it has lots of roots. And they almost are becoming root bound, because then that holds it nice and tight. So when you're pulling it out, they come out easily and it doesn't disturb the roots. I have done video on this in the past. I will put a card here, so you can click here if you want to see it. I'll also put it in the description below. But I'm really happy with how these guys are turning out. I do need to come through and kind of staple and tighten up the drip tape a little bit. What happens with drip tape is you turn it on and the tape kind of expands. And so then when you turn it off, it kind of shrinks. And so the movement of that causes the drip tape to kind of curve a little bit and kind of become almost like snake-like. So you can see here, I do like to put a staple right around every plant, but I did every other plant just so I could get things moving. And I need to staple down the ends better so that it stops kind of pulling up. But you can see how they're not on the pumpkins now. So I will need to come through and kind of staple that. That way we can ensure that the pumpkins get water. Otherwise they will start to die. We are in the middle of a really bad drought. We have not had rain for ages, and our total amount since the snow melted for rain is 0.13 inches. So we had flooding back when we still had snow on the ground, and we have not really had a decent rain since. And so I am so glad that we have the drip irrigation, but it is making life a lot harder here for us. The past few days have been extremely hot and pretty breezy. So with these guys being younger than the vining pumpkins, I have been keeping the drip on these guys during the day, just so that they don't have a chance to kind of get droopy. You can see here that's starting to get droopy because it's really hot out. You can see that I have flags marking the varieties. They also have little plant tags, but when I am looking for pumpkins in the rows, this should help to be able to see what is what. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows there are all eating pumpkins. They're pie pumpkins. They are mashed potatoes, and there was one more. Remember what that last one was. Oh, that one's a kai-kai. So that is a naked seeded squash. So I wanted to keep the variety for eating all together so that when I am picking, I can put them on the same wagon, same trailer, and I won't get them all mixed up. So that is the plan for that. So I'm going to turn the drip on for this, and then I will take you out to the front field and show you our vining pumpkins. So over here, you can see what is getting water because look how green it is compared to everywhere else. But these pumpkins are doing amazing. These are all of our vining pumpkins. With it being so hot and so dry, these guys are getting a deep water every other day because I want to make sure that they are strong, they have a really good root system, and that we are able to get a crop off of these guys. I think our biggest issue in the past as far as volume of pumpkins have been going, or failures have been not watering enough when it starts getting hot and dry. And so I am making sure that these guys get a lot of water, and it is showing because they are doing phenomenal. So you can see that they've really started vining out. I do need to come in and weed whip and then get the drip run so that I can get trees planted. I think with as much as I'm watering these, it'll be good for the trees, so I'm just gonna go for it because the trees are all still in storage, so I gotta get them out of there. So there's a chance for cool and rain this weekend, so my goal for the weekend is to get those planted. But anyways, these pumpkins out here are doing awesome. That row is further behind because that was the last row that I planted, but these are big and they're bushy, and I even found some little baby pumpkins on some of these guys. And these ones down here have blossoms. So that is a wonderful sign. So once it cools off, I'm going to come out, spend some time out here, getting the edges weed whipped, maybe even running some ground cover in between trees, getting trees planted. And then that way we don't need to worry about weeds smothering out the pumpkins or taking nutrients from them. I am going to fertilize these guys in a little bit, just because I want to stay ahead of the game. And so it has been about a month since, it's been about a month since I started planting, and they got lots of fertilizer then. So I am going to probably this evening when I turn on the drip out here, I am going to fertilize these guys as well and give them a nice deep soak, and then that should be good for probably another 2 weeks depending on what the weather is like. Look at this one. Look how pretty that plant is. Got some pretty flowers on there. And so now we will start to see, I found some baby ones last night when I was out here looking, but we will start to see little pumpkins coming up from underneath some of these blossoms. And so it won't be long before we start seeing pumpkins. So that is very good. That is a very bright spot in a very rough spring and summer. So we have the bush pumpkins up on the south side of the high tunnel, and we have the vining out here. You might be saying, well, what's left to plant? We have our trellising pumpkins left to plant. And I finally just decided on what I'm gonna do last night, because I gotta get these guys in the ground. And it's gonna take a little bit of work, but I think it's gonna be the best solution for this year. And it's gonna be very close so that I'm able to water them and keep an eye on them and have them trellised all at the same time. So here by the stone coop and the little greenhouse in between them is the poles that we hung lights from and where we sold Christmas trees last year. And so what I decided I'm gonna do is I am just gonna run trellising fabric or it's like a plastic grid. I used it for my peas inside the high tunnel, and I am just gonna run it from pole to pole, and those poles are 12 feet apart. So it will have 2 rows of 24 feet of trellising and then 1 row of 12 feet here in the front. And I will have to provide some support for them. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna go get some bucket loads of compost, and we're just gonna form a big long mound from pole to pole, and then put the netting on and then plant those pumpkins. Once that is done, the pumpkins will be planted. But we are going to get that going today and try to get as much compost down as possible before it gets super hot. It's already probably upper 80s right now with really high humidity. When I was up and did morning checks at like 4 o'clock this morning, it was 57 degrees with 97% humidity, and it had the dew point was 53 degrees. So we got no dew, but just super, super high humidity. Anyways, so we're gonna try to get as much done as possible today so that maybe tomorrow I can get all of these planted. Once these are planted, that is it, and we are done. So just a quick video of our pumpkin patch tour of the year. I have a little bit more ground cover left, a little bit more plants to plant, and then we should be good to go for the year. But the plants that are planted are looking amazing, so that feels good. That is it for today's video. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time.